All right. I think I went live a few seconds ago, and I was trying to figure out the settings, and I forgot one thing, I suppose, and that was to plug in the laptop. And well, I had to stop the live stream because, well, I guess my laptop was gonna shut off, so didn't want that. This is my second attempt, same day, small channel, so I know the chances of anybody catching this in real time is unlikely. So I wanted to see if I can figure out the settings. So far, been able to figure out a few. Um, in the event somebody jumps in, I guess I will be able to see if I can work out how to go here. And it says present. I wonder if this is the share screen, extra camera, video file. I do have a video. Share screen. Let's see. Let me see if I can find the video that I made and see if I can. Oh, I don't know if they will be there. Hmm. Nope, I guess not. Guess the file. Well, let's see what happens when I press this. Nope, nothing. Maybe you have to have the video up and running. Not sure. What about here? Let's see. Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out some of the settings. Nope, nothing there. Well, cancel that. I guess that's gonna be for another day. Share screen. Will I be able to figure out share screen? Let's see. Well, before I do that, let me just let's see some of the as far as to get a conversation going, or while I try to figure some of these settings out. So I guess I can start with. Do you know as far as what are some of the biggest fears people have besides death? I guess is death one of the top five? Probably. Is it number one? Maybe, maybe not. The one that is either number one or pretty close to being number one is the fear of public speaking. Believe it or not. Um, Ask a new freshman in college, and if or something like that, when they have to take a communications class, if that is something that is required, and they have to present their project or their whatever presentation for the first time around. I had to go through that. I also had to, my classmates, they had to go through that, and that was quite something to see everybody do that for the very first time. I think the communications 102 was a little bit easier for the students there, but it's still like again the fear of public speaking. Why might that be, right? What is that a phenomenon in most cultures? Um, I guess maybe we should clarify. Maybe not for the extroverts, right? For the extroverts, they find it a little bit easier to um, as far as the public speaking. I'm assuming. Um, and then if you're familiar with the big factor five of personality, right? The ocean acronym, the extroversion. I guess that's the people that are higher in extroversion may not be so scared to talk in public. But so, yeah, that's one of the things I do as far as the top three for sure is fear of public speaking. Why might that be, right? So, some of those possibilities might be, sorry, here's some notes in the background. Some of those possibilities might be the fear to be rejected when other people, whether they're strangers or not, classmates, they're somewhat strangers, right? I mean, you have somewhat of an acquaintance, you're somewhat familiar, but with unless so when I was in the nursing program, it was like all of us, but like in a communications class, it was just random people that maybe you met for the first time, so it was different, I guess. But so the fear to be rejected, the fear to be judged, when you're up there and everybody's looking at you, and that kind of thing, as far as right, what if you screw up, what if you, right, the anxiety just gets so overwhelming, the fear, I guess, eyeballs on you, um, the fear to be ridiculed, right? The fear of failure. Maybe even before, maybe before the presentation, before you have to talk in public, before that even begins, people are already freaking out internally, right? Where you go and the anxiety is so bad and you just blank, right? You thought you were prepared, but your mind goes blank. Kind of like test anxiety. I guess that's real for some people where they are prepared and then the anxiety is so overwhelming that they kind of freeze. They forgot everything that they thought they knew, right? So those are some challenges for people. So fear of public speaking. Um, One of the things that we've found out, or at least we seem to think, is that we are social creatures. And even though some people say, people are mean, people bite, people are, no bueno, like they just don't want to socialize, they just want to avoid people as much as possible. I guess the 2019 ordeal, 2020, the lockdowns, that kind of made it to where people started going online and they were like, well, if I don't have to go to work, I'm not going to go to work. If I presentation I'm going to give, if it's just at home, maybe it won't be as hard. But are we social creatures, or is this an idea that we just think? So one of the things that we found out, because I guess psychology is a fairly new discipline, and when people started to study it, like um, Freud and Jung, Adler, and everybody else, right? When the inner, right, when they started questioning why do we do the things we do, and then as technology advanced, we ended up sending people into outer space, right? The astronauts, cosmonauts, whatever you want to call it, when they were out there, I guess for the first time around, they these were supposed to be the most qualified people, and right, because they're if something goes wrong, they're out there, no one's there to help, right? Something breaks, you gotta your engineering skills, your mechanical skills, your whatever you want to call it, whatever um, your discipline was, it better be the top notch because before somebody else comes over to help you, it might be months and months. But guess where I'm going with this? One of the things that we found out is that when the cosmonauts or astronauts were out there in the void, in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of space, without their social support, without their significant others, whatever you want to call it, when they were out there alone, day in, day out, day in, day out, something went wrong. The most qualified people, right, the best of the best of the best of the best of the best, they had a total meltdown. They complete mental break. So yes, total isolation not good for people, right? So where am I going with all this, right? How do I connect the dots? Because on TLC, I know Luke Thompson was mentioning something about he was mentioning the philosopher Dr. Nathan Jacobs, who is also known to this little corner, right, to TLC, and he was saying, his all these complicated ideas about philosophy and all this stuff. He's like, that I guess it doesn't grab his attention as much anymore. I know Luke Thompson has been part of the TLC for years and years and years, along with PVK, right? The whole phenomenon with Jordan Peterson and Pajot. But he is now like more of the relationship, these the meaning of what you find out when you have conversations, and I been able to experience those conversations between people in TLC, and they're very, very awesome conversations, very awesome ideas, and the fellowship, uh, mentorship. I know earlier on Mark Parker's channel, More Nuts Than Bolts, because he live streams on both of his channels. I know they were discussing about what is a TLC and does it need a new name or this or that, and they were just the whole thing and VPN virtually sorry V virtually not VNA, right, with Grim Gris, virtually not alone, and about breaking the fourth wall and talking fellowship. So is a TLC involved, has been involved in some sort of fellowship mentorship? I know that they're having real life estuaries, like in real time, where they actually do hang out in real person, and some of those um, friendships have came about from an online setting. This new tech, as we engage in this new technology, this technology has been changing, and the pace of it changing has been super, super, super quick. Um, a little rabbit trail here. So if you are into photography, um, and then you like to see pictures of back in the day, the analog, right? The ones that were captured in 35 millimeter film versus the digital, right? And then you start looking at the same town from 1920, sorry, 2020, 2000, 1980, 1920, right? Those now, same town, like say New York City, because they, this been around. I think is one of the was New York was one of the 13 colonies. So, like I said, in this area, some of those towns have been around for a little bit, not too long, not compared to Europe, but still, when photography became one of the newest technologies, back in white, they were able to capture the town. And if you know, like I said, if you're into photography, you can see those pictures of back in the 1800s and the town, right? Even though it was populated, tens of thousands in the city, you would see in the streets, you wouldn't see cars. Cars weren't invented. You see horses, right? The blacksmiths, horses, and they had to figure out how to deal with the horse manure on the street, right? The term of today is bull manure, not horse manure. But back then, it was that they had to deal with that. A lot of horses meant a lot of manures. And try good luck if you are on the street. Try not to. Well, I guess there was sidewalks, but if there was no sidewalks, you could step on them quite some. Anyways, technology, right? Before cars, before electricity, and now we have the smartphone. And now we have Neuralink, where we're connecting the brain to a computer, and that computer is connected to a database, and that database has AI technology as well, and even satellite technology, right? Because this is all Neuralink, and this is all um, the Elon Musk's, all the enterprises, all the stuff that he owns, self-driving car via um, AI technology, which is, again, this is what it is now. Remember if you're into photography, maybe you've seen those photos, or maybe you are old enough to have experienced the phones that were attached to the wall with the rotary. Remember, oh, too many nines and eights. Oh man! And the technology was just to get a longer cord, so you can go maybe from the living room, maybe even into the kitchen, right? Because if the cord wasn't long enough, I guess you just, you know, guess you're not going there. So technology has changed quite a bit. Invention of the telegram, invention of the fax machine. I know for some people that were in the business industry, fax machines were quite the thing, quite the phenomenon. Now, fax machines are almost obsolete. We still use them in where I work, but now you can just scan the document with your smartphone, and even if that document is in a different language, even if it is in a different language, it's now has you now have the AI technology to translate it in real time, right, from your phone. You don't have to do anything. Just as you're scanning the document, it translates it, uploads it, and then you can forward this to someone in a different continent, in a matter of seconds, if not minutes, depending on how fast your Wi-Fi is. Right? If you have one of those, what is it, 5G technology? Is it 5G? Right. And we'll get to it super quick. How does I still don't know how the technology works where you record a video in high tech with your phone. How does it capture the real life physical into a video, uploads it, and then you text it? to someone in a different continent super, super fast. How does it do that? How does it take everything that's around that we can see in the physical world and it converts it to digital information? Basically, is what it is. Information. You can have two identical iPhones with two different apps on the surface. You can have the same, they're identical, same RAM, same everything, same specs, same version, same everything. But what you can do with it could be miles apart depending on the apps that it has, right? And it's that is all information. As a matter of fact, if you happen to weigh the phone before and then you upload 1,000 books, digital books, right, from your favorite fictional authors, let's say, even if they are big, like Stephen King, uh, Brandon Sanderson. I'm getting the last name right, but he's got his books are big. Even if you filled 1,000 books, does the phone weigh any different? All that information has no weight. Does it exist? Because I know the physical matter has, right? E equals mc squared, right? Mass. All this, we know it exists. I can send you the digital video. There's information that exists, but has no mass. Is it real? We know it's real. I can't explain it to you, but so kind of it kind of messes with how to explain this reality, this information reality, um, where we can upload 1,000 books onto a phone and it doesn't change its mass, but we know those. Well, we can that information's there, but it doesn't weigh anything, and we can text it to somebody in Europe. We can send this information almost almost instantly. So in a physical world, because there's philosophers that are materialists only, right? Only the material. This information technology. How do you explain that? I know they're far smarter than me. I know they probably know how to make sense of that. It has no mass but exists, and we can even send it to and fro. So we know it works, and you don't have to understand it, or you don't even have to believe in it to for it to. Right, as if you don't believe in it, it doesn't exist. I'll give you an example. How do we describe gravity? The scientists, they give it a word so we can describe, so we can know what we're talking about, like gravity. But I can still jump in the air, but I'm limited to gravity, right? And somebody in space jumps now. The height is different because of the gravity difference. So even if someone says, I don't believe in gravity, I don't believe in science, I think this is bunk, you know, that's your opinion. But does that mean because you don't believe in gravity that now you're gonna jump 100 feet up in the air, just like nonchalant? Oh yeah, I'll grab that. Let me just leap 100 feet. Yeah, even if you don't believe, even if you think gravity is bunk, I don't think I don't think the rules of gravity, you know, disappear just because you don't believe in it. So in the same concept of the realism, physical only, well, this digital reality that we're sending back and forth, videos to and fro, books that we documents. I guess to say that no copyright issues have been violated. If I type up a 100-page document, I can send it to you via text in like a matter of seconds. So this thing that exists, because you can read it on your end, so it exists. These are ideas that exist in reality because we can talk about it after you read it. So, and even though you're not, you can, I can send it, text it to you. You can read it, and then we can have a face-to-face live stream, or on the Zoom, or on the phone, whatever, right? And how do I know you read it? Because we will be talking about it. So, like I said, there's reality that's not physical but yet exists. Whether you believe it or not, we, I know when we start talking about metaphysics too, as far as the people start getting a headache, and myself included. So, what is? Uh, Not that many people have seen my videos. It's a fairly new channel. I think there's only 10 to 12 subscribers, but one of those that I mentioned was the thing that caught my attention, and that is how they train baby circus elephants. So when they're adults, the circus trainer or the clown or whatever, the circus clown, when they want the elephant to stay put, they just get this flimsy rope and they just tie it to a post, and that powerful elephant, stronger than a person, just stays put, not gonna get away because it's being it can't, so it thinks, because of this flimsy rope. But the way they train, so when I heard this the first time, it blew my mind. The way they train the baby elephants was when they were, I don't know if you want to call them puppies or babies, whatever that term is. I'm not a veterinarian, so I'm unfamiliar with those terms. When they were a baby puppy, when they were a puppy elephant, the trainers would tie them to a post with this flimsy rope, and that baby elephant would try to break free and tug and tug and tug with all its might, but it was unable to break it, to the point where it was so exhausted it had no energy left, and it just plopped on the floor and it gave up. Well, after several attempts, once it regained its energy, it was like, I'm breaking free and you can't stop me. And then the flimsy rope did stop it. And once its spirit broke, once it thought, okay, I'm stuck, I'm a slave forever, slave of this flimsy rope, it gave up trying. Puppy elephant thought, I'm assuming, why bother? It's unbreakable. No sense in trying. I can't waste my energy. Is that right? So once the spirit broke, as far as the spirit of freedom in that metaphorical sense, when the elephant was a full adult, it was still being tied by the same flimsy rope. But in its mind, it thought that rope is invincible. It's just impossible for me to break. And it tried, right? From its perspective, from its reality, from its experience, the elephant did try once upon a time, and it was an impossibility, but didn't realize that even though it was the same elephant, as an adult, it was much more powerful. And if it only knew that the elephant was stronger now, it could break free with a breeze, with ease. But it didn't even try. We sometimes have that fixed mentality where we're stuck and we can't make progress. We don't even try because when we were little, and maybe we come from broken homes, and that does something to a kid. And there are some, I mentioned some of that in my previous videos if you're wondering, but that does something to a kid, and maybe he thinks it's being called worthless, and when it tries it fails because it's a little complicated for that 3-year-old or 4-year-old, that kind of thing. It thinks it's an impossibility. Then when they're adults, they think it's an impossibility. Not that I didn't try, because I did try, but it's an impossibility. That's what the psychologists would consider the fixed mindset. But there's the inverse of that, the growth mindset. The ones that think this is too easy, right? I need the new challenge, to, right there. Growth mindset. They seem to think that well, I'm stuck right now only because I haven't figured it out. But the minute I figure it out, it's next to the next level. Right there at level 7, level 10, level 14, you name it. Mark Manson, who I don't believe he has a PhD in psychology or psychiatry. I don't believe he's a professor, but nonetheless, he writes about psychology. And the way he writes, I I was hesitant to read his material because I was reading other psychologists' work because it was peer review, and because remember I work in a clinical setting and I wanted peer review stuff and all that good stuff. So I was hesitant, but I just kept hearing so many good things about his books that I gave it a go. And man, he became my favorite nonfiction author. And he mentions that the one, whether it's real or not, the point is what matters. And I'm gonna some paraphrase it to what I can remember because I do have a limited memory. So the professor, this is a math class, and it might be somewhat an advanced math class, not your beginner's math class. Um, I'm assuming for those people that are, that were in the process of majoring in math, right? For those that like math, and the professor was wrote on the blackboard or chalkboard back in the day. I don't know, one of those two, on the chalkboard, this this equation that was impossible to solve at that time. So he wrote it down and he started talking to the class about, we've made progress in math. We've, the invention of zero, thinking about zero as a concept. And then, did you catch that? Sorry, rabbit trail. Did you catch that episode not too long ago with Joe Rogan and Eric Weinstein and that actor that was talking about? Remember, there's 3D, and he mentioned about zero and that one times one is two. Remember that, Terrence? That conversation. Okay. Anyways, back to what I was going before that rabbit trail. So this professor is writing this unsolvable equation on the board and saying, "Hey, we made progress in the past, but we're still we are. This is where we're at, and currently this is unsolvable. But probably you guys, are going to continue on in math, and you guys are going to get your PhD in math, and still you won't be able to solve this equation. But that's just it is what it is. One of these days, somebody, a savant or something, someone out there, is going to solve it. That's the way I remember. This is a paraphrase, so it's not identical as how he said it. But anyways, but this student walks in late, freaked out because he's late. Um, Ever been late before? Yeah, me too. So he walks in late, doesn't didn't get to wasn't in on the instructions how that was an impossible equation. He didn't get any of that. He didn't get any of that stuff. All he knows is he got there late. He's trying to get set up. He's in a hurry. Oh my goodness! And everybody's seeing him walking in late. Right? Some of those people do suffer with that um, generalized anxiety disorder or agoraphobia to the extreme or whatnot, where they're you know in a crowd, or especially when you're walking in late because you're the only one and all eyeballs are on you. So anyways, he's trying to hurry up and try to get settled, and he noticed that equation on the board, so he's trying to write it down. He's like, oh, maybe this is an assignment, and he wants to, if you remember back when you were in university, you have to write it down real quick before the professor erases it and moves on to the next one. Remember the blackboard versus, yeah, okay. So he's quickly writes the equation down before it gets erased. The lecture continues, and then when he's home or in his apartment or dorm, whatever you want to call it, I don't remember the details, just the concept. Um, this math student who didn't get the memo, who didn't know that this was an impossible equation, starts doing it, but he doesn't have the fixed mentality. He has a growth mentality. He's been having that for, I don't know since when, but he thinks, well, this is the next challenge, and he's like, ooh, this is hard. He's thinking, oh man, this, because it was an impossible equation up to then, so it was hard. But he's thinking, it's hard, so he's giving it a go, giving it a go, giving it a go. Had he heard the lecture, I'm assuming he would have gave up, because remember the professor said it's an impossible, unsolvable equation. Many PhDs in the past have given it a go, but to no avail. He did not get the memo, but he did not have the fixed mindset. Remember the baby elephant, that he wasn't attached to the flimsy rope. He was just trucking along. Next challenge. And he's like, "Ooh, this is challenging." So he did take a while. He did not give up because he thought it was an assignment. Tries it again, tries it again, tries it again, tries it again. Finally, after much work, because he didn't get the memo, He didn't know it was unsolvable. He solves the equation and he thinks that it's an assignment, so he turns it into the professor. You can imagine what the professor, his jaw dropped, right? So the concept of the story, as I remember, is like, yeah, hmm, what a difference it makes when it regarding the perception, right? He was late, different perception to the other students, and also having that fixed mindset versus the growth mindset, and looking in right back with when psychology first began with Freud, right, as he was helping out his clients, talking to them, trying to figure out what is the source of the problem, right? Is it in your childhood? That kind of thing. So as we look inward, many of us hate to look inward, scared to what we might find. What if I find that I have the fixed mindset? Well, guess what? I'm sure if someone is able to communicate, if maybe if the adult circus elephant learns sign or how to decipher sign language, and somebody gives him the sign language to say, "Hey, you're an adult, you're strong now. How about you try to? I'm telling you, you can break away from that flimsy rope. How about you give it a go, right?" When we look internally, how many times have we been thought things were impossible because we tried it when we were young and we just had this fixed mindset and we don't even bother trying anymore. So back to go circle back when I mentioned the fear of public speaking, right? Why potential why the fear to be rejected, the fear to be judged, the fear to be ridiculed, the fear of failure. That's why we don't even try to attempt to solve the next equation because if you can't solve it, then it proves that you're an idiot. No, no, no. It's just it proves that the next challenge is hard, but once you take the time, do the work. If it's solvable, it's solvable, right? When I was in second grade, and if somebody was trying to teach me college algebra, good luck with that, right? Because that me at second grade, no way. That's just not gonna happen, right? So sometimes context matters. Context, context, context. Just like the people in real estate, I'm not, but the people in real estate say location, location, location. As far as psychology, context or literature, context is everything, right? Right? Let's get the context of the story. Let's get the context of the situation. Let's get the concept, self awareness, insight, right? All that. If you're not familiar with DBT, CBT, or that kind of thing, I do encourage it. And if you can find, remember, I come from a Christian perspective. If you happen to find a Christian, and you can test, everybody has a different idea of what a Christian is or ought, right? Depends on who you ask. Not to, I'm not here to say denomination specific, just a generic term of a Christian. If you can find what most people would consider, right, Christian, born again, right, a born again Christian that's a therapist, I say, hey, why not? If you're a Christian, I come from a Christian perspective, so that would be my yes, my it looks like again, new channel. This channel has been collecting dust. I've been posting a few things, but that's just the nature of things. When you're new to this, um, I did send the link. I don't know if this link actually works. I don't have anybody to try it out. So far, nobody has been able to jump in because I wanted to work out some other details while other people were engaged to share screens and whatnot. But anyways, wanted to give it a go. Today's my first day trying this live stream. I did that a few minutes ago, a little bit ago, half an hour ago or so. I didn't plug in my laptop, so I had to stop and start it again. But anyways, I don't know how often I'm going to try this live stream because I am limited with my free time. I am a bit somewhat of a busy person with work and as a family man, and as also with the errands and the responsibilities that I have. I have little time, and I'm also trying to I have adopted a growth mindset now, so I am trying to better myself, be a little bit better than what I was yesterday. They suggest to compare yourself to your previous self, not to others, because everybody's in a different journey, different phase of that journey. So I'm trying to read books whenever I can, um, trying to watch videos that have some that are able to better my walk, my in this walk of what I'm going to term as in this Christian um, fellowship, mentorship, as others try to mentor each other, as because we're supposed to, what is that term? Edify, right? Help each other out as Christians, right? The fellowship. I think that Luke was talking about just having that the fellowship to be present. Um, so this mentorship, this fellowship, mentorship, Christian mentorship, this virtual space mentorship. So I'm still trying to watch your videos, try to watch your live streams as I get to connect with your ideas, with who you are, your life experience. Yeah, I think that it's worthwhile. I do agree. Again, when I say agree, I don't mean 100% because I don't even agree 100% with myself. So, as an example, even though I am the same person, I'm not the same person from when I was 10 years old. Not even though I'm the same person, but the 10-year-old me is not the same person as the 15-year-old me, not the same person as the 25-year-old me, not the same person as my 35 yet. Kidding, but you know what I mean. Same person, but still different. Have I changed my ideas since then? Yes, even though I'm the same person. So, obviously, when I say I agree with someone, I don't mean 100% entirety, but yes, I I, I, I like, for instance, Dr. Nathan Jacobs, Luke Thompson, and even though he, has a different take on that, like, I'm not, I agree. I know what he's trying to say as far as this fellowship, this friendship, mentorship, fellowship, mentorship, Christian mentorship, um, and even outside of Christianity, because I know in TLC there's non-denominational, non-Christians, there's theist mentorship, and there's even some atheists. Because I've seen an awesome conversation between T. Grog, Luke Thompson, Sherry, A. Aaron, and Mark um, from More Nuts Than Bolts, Mark Parker. Again, T. Grog is an atheist, and it was still like a good conversation. So this new mentorship, fellowship, this bonding that I like it. So, anyways, that's what I would do with my free time. So I don't know when I will be able to do this again, as far as going live, putting the stream link so others people can join. I was trying to figure out the settings today. The first time I tried to do this, YouTube gave me this 24-hour restriction for the first timers. This time it allowed me to go live, and but because this is such a small channel, no one was able to see it on real time. And if they did see it, they're like, "Yeah, sorry, buddy, not gonna jump in." Whatever it is, I understand. Um, I'm trying to get in touch with all the true sense of reality testing in all shapes and forms, from the metaphysics to the real, from everyday layman's point of view, right? The real to the, because I do listen to people that are far smarter than me to see if I can learn something. Because new knowledge for me to acquire has to come from outside of me. That's why I'm a big. So that's why I encourage people, like, if you have been hesitant to find a mentor, like, or even one level up, right, a spiritual leader, like, yes, go to church, right? The new TLC, go to church, right? Whether it's priest, bishop, pastor, reverend, you name it, go to church. And as a suggestion, you don't have to if you don't want to. study the scriptures on your free time, right? If you don't want to, that's fine. I'm not telling you what to. I'm just a suggestion. So yeah, but I agree as far as this new thing that TLC is all about. And like I said, even though I have limited free time, I do make time to try to grow and try to learn from you all. Great ideas. I've heard so many great ideas. Even though I don't always comment or share, I don't always catch the live stream. I still think it's very awesome. This TLC has grown on me so much. Anyways, well, this is my first day live streaming. Looks like I'm just. It appears that I'm talking to the void. New channel. All right, that's to be expected. I did share the live stream link. I don't know if it actually works or not. Like I said, theory only takes you so far. Nobody was able to jump in, so I don't know if this is what you have to do or not. I don't know. This is my first time around. But anyways, I don't know when I will be able to do it again. I know that today's Friday. Me and the family, we're gonna be taking off. We're gonna be going out of town, so I won't be available. And then after that, back to work, back to the grind, and after that, then it's errands and all these family duties and all that stuff. So I don't know when I will be able to do this again. But anyways, if I happen to catch you on your live stream, I'll try to remember to say hi. Um, if you do happen to catch this, because I think it will record it in the live section, drop in a comment or not, completely optional. I don't know if you dare, if you're bold to even share my stuff. Um, Again, just to help other people know that I'm actually doing this live streaming, because I don't think many people. It's the first time I ever do it, so how does anybody know, right? First time I do it. Anyways, I think I will leave it here. Well, hopefully next time I might be able to catch one of you in real time, or maybe I'll catch you when you're going live. Sometimes the stars, sometimes it's just do you happen to be on right when I am able to join, and sometimes I don't join just because I like the conversation. I sometimes don't want to send it into a different path, I guess. And think I will leave it here. Did you happen to hear how many bird song, different types of bird song? I am outdoors. That's when there's some sun already hitting me. And it's been changing. And um, all right. Until next time, Alex de Sola Sol, the Spanish lingo, Spanish saying has become my handle now because I like it so much. All right. Till next time.